Hello, we are live from my backyard. Just got home about 3 to 4 minutes ago. Time for our Tuesday evening garden update. I have some new plants, thanks to some friends giving me plants recently, and some new growth. And then we're also going to tackle today talking about watering. So I got a question at work on how to water plants. Hey, Charlotte. So we'll talk about that a little bit today, go over some basics, and then take a look at the growth. Hey, Mom. That's neighbor's garage. Hey, Michael. Here is the garden growing abundantly. We'll tackle some of the new things first. Kale, I picked out some this past week for salads. Enjoyed it thoroughly. What up to you, Michael? New addition, kind of buried in here. It's hard to see because there are other plants around it. But where we had the radishes, I now have a Brussels sprouts plant. So we'll see how that grows. I don't know how they grow, so that'll be interesting to see. And then we see the carrots all along in that path, growing nicely. Lots of top growth. What goes on underneath, we'll find out. But hey, Mark, I'm going to try and soften the soil to aerate it. And then the next row, we have some radishes still in there that have been eaten by birds for the most part. So those are pretty much done. So that took about 6 to 7 weeks for the radishes to grow. Next up we have beets, so those will take a few more weeks before we harvest those. And then you can eat the leaves for both the radishes and for the beets. Hey, Brian. Next row, we still have some more carrots somehow that got in this row. And then the lettuce didn't grow as much as we planted, so maybe the seeds were eaten. But we see there's some regular lettuce mixed in with the kale. And so last year, if you recall, the kale grew pretty significantly, so I'm trying to keep up with it, adding it to stews or salads. We see there's another lettuce plant there that somehow got there. And then our pea pods. We can see we have some nice little blooms there. So those will turn into pea pods. So you can kind of see, we'll track it next week. I'll try and take pictures throughout the week so you can see how these progress. But you may remember 2 weeks ago, it was barely probably 6 to 7 inches off the ground. And now they're probably 3 or 4 feet tall. So really cool to see that. And then if you recall from last year, these little flowers, they're for the arugula. That means that the plant has bolted. So you can pull these out, which is kind of sad because I've only had a couple leaves of arugula. The shishito peppers, I haven't tracked any down yet, Mark. So I have to go to the nursery this weekend or buy some seeds, and then they will be ours for the taking. So with the arugula, that when it bolts, it means that the soil's a little warmer, so the plant's kind of done growing. So we can pull those out, and we can put something else in their place. General note, kind of about watering. So I got a question today at work. So typically you can feel the soil to see how moist or wet it is. It's pretty dry, so I'll water it after tonight's video. Usually I water every other day. I have a gallon jug, which you've seen before. And you want to water kind of close to the soil, not too high up. I like to do it in the evening because I'm lazy in the morning, and usually I'm running towards the train and I don't have time. So you want to be consistent to some degree. If it rains, then that means you don't have to water. But for the most part, look at the leaves. You can see these are all pretty green and healthy looking. A couple weeks ago, the tomato plants were pretty yellow and wilted, which is a sign that it's too dry. So you need to give them some water. Give them a drink. So that's the garden box. So we see some good growth. The arugula, probably going to have to harvest that out. Then we can put something else in that place. The beets continue growing. And then the carrots, those take a while to grow, so I'm going to loosen the soil a little bit and then water tonight. Other things to note. So this we have green onions and mint. And so we see those starting to bloom there. Just another round of green onions. So thank you to Christina for these. Our friend Hammett over here, minding the garden and scaring off the woodchucks. This is cilantro that came back from last year. I didn't pull anything out last year, so that'll be good for some tacos. That's the main bit in the backyard. We'll go my little structure back here. There's an addition out of pity, also from Christina, a fellow gardener. So my zucchinis weren't really coming up too well. So she had started some from seed. So this is a zucchini plant right here. And so that's got a head start versus the seeds, which I hope are starting to sprout up there. And so that hopefully will grow up. Zucchini is more of a bush than a cucumber, which would sprawl up the glorious trellis that I built. So we'll see, keep watering that. The tough part, I put stuff back here because I ran out of space in the box, but then I'm lazy and I don't come back here and water it, so that's on me. And Michael, all these videos do go to YouTube. I'll send the link in the comments as well, for everyone who's curious about past weekly garden updates. This here is my heap of garbage. It started as a compost heap. Now it's just kind of like leaves and other garden waste or grass clippings. So not the most efficient use of space. It'll probably get diseased and harbor some animal. There's my shadow. Oh, going to the side of the house are tomatoes and peppers. So tomato number one, growing up a little bit. We see there's some buds on there. So those, it's too early to have tomato buds. So I might pick those off, or they'll just fall off. So typically the tomato would be probably up to here before it starts producing any sort of fruit. These are our peppers. So here we can see the leaves are a little yellow. So probably a sign that it's too dry, and you can see the soil as well, somewhat cracked. So not really wet looking at all. So give a little more water to these this evening, and then more pepper, more pepper. Look at this one. This one's really sad. That one's super shriveled, so that needs some water too. More peppers and tomatillo plant. So those are all the plants on the side of the house. And then my mom requested the peonies, so we'll finish with those this evening as the sun sets on the suburbs of Chicago. So a little too bright there. So here's our lush back corner. I don't really know what these are, but they're huge. I tried mowing them down last year and they came back, but we can see there are some peonies to finish up this evening. So there are some white ones with yellow centers as well. So that is the garden update. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll put this on YouTube and send you the link. Have a great rest of your Tuesday if you're barbecuing. Gorgeous night out. Thanks for watching. Take care everybody. Bye. Keep growing.